In 2016, I started as the assistant director of Furious Flower under the founding executive director, Dr. Joanne Gabin, and I was the assistant director for 6 years before last July, that's 2022, assuming the executive directorship. And so my experience prior to this week has been observing the driver and then being the driver. And that has been a wonderful and challenging and completely life-changing experience. I think there's a few things we're trying to build. I think we're always trying to build community. I think Fierce Flower was built on the relationships among Black poets and the people who love Black poetry, and that sense of community, that sense of love has been the engine of the organization. And so always trying to expand, deepen, and develop that community, build it, is one of the goals of this week. The second goal, another way of building that community, is of course to share the work of Black poets. And so the Syllabus Project is meant to help educators develop new lovers of Black poetry, in their classrooms with their students. And so we're building materials, resources, and portals for these students and educators to enter this world that we know and love so well. I think we're building a pathway to the 2024 conference, which will be the fourth Furious Flower Conference, and the first one not presided over by its founding director. And so I think it's exciting to think about what this next phase of Fierce Flower looks like and what it will be and how many people we can bring along into that exciting moment. And so I think of the Syllabus Project also as a sort of runway to get folks on board, get people excited, get them prepared, and to contextualize what we're going to try to celebrate, what we're definitely going to celebrate in 2024. What will be exciting about this project is the idea of students across the country simultaneously, well, maybe not literally simultaneously, but at the same time or as close to the same time, the same period, learning this stuff and then having dialogues with each other about this work. I think that the idea that, a community class in Seattle might be in conversation with a graduate class at Rutgers, might be in conversation with a class in prison in Pennsylvania, talking about the same work, I think that's phenomenal, and I'm excited about that possibility. In 2023, we are still seeing the criminalization, the exclusion, the erasure, the devaluing of the work of Black writers and writers of color. And as someone who also didn't read any Black folks in my college education in the United States, I think that it's important that I think one of our participants said we make ignorance as least feasible as possible an excuse for that. And so I think that having these materials, empowering people to teach them, insisting on their importance, and providing ways for them to be meaningfully used is critical. It's for me about being, it's about identity, it's about voice and expression and heart and history. I think these things matter because our internal worlds matter, and our internal worlds are always in conversation with our external world. And poetry, Black poetry, has a lot to say, facilitates that conversation, right? It's where some of those conversations meet and happen. And I think at Fierce Flower, we celebrate those conversations. We encourage folks to learn about what we've always had to say to each other, and about the places we have lived and the experiences we've had. And I think that remembering and preserving and taking those things forward, even as we walk into a future, I think that matters.